Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This video we're going to be showing off, I'm going to be showing off my ninth place with a top 16 cut regional deck profile for the side deck regional remote duel for the 14th of Sunday. Sorry, of the 14th for April. So let's go ahead and get right into this real quick. So I'm going to give out a few shout outs. So shout outs to a few of the E&E crowds. So, Brendan, Max, Rohan, all of them. Shout out to Malcolm McNeil, one of the best players I've ever seen. Shout out to the Remotey server that a friend of mine hosts. If I will go ahead and have that server down in my description down below. So if you want to, every Tuesday we do allow proxies. It's free entry, of course, no prizing, but like it's just a good way to get testing in, and it's pretty active as the eye can see. We have some pretty good duelists there. And then what else? Shout out to Enrique for the core. Yeah. So yeah, shout out Enrique too. Sorry, shout out to Joe for the core. Shout out Enrique for the avian. I mean, we would have won it. I mean, honestly, the Sontatis deck I think is one of the best shifter decks in the room, and I think with some fine tweak and some testing, it was this regional. I saw I made arguably one misplay that I shouldn't have made, and now I know that how I'm gonna avoid not making that same misplay again. And then what did you call it? And then the kashtira matchup. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get in my matchups real quick. So, my first round one, we played against a mirror match. It was 2-1. I scooped on game one because he main deck Featherstorm me. And then game two, I didn't see Featherstorm, but we just outgrinded him. And then game three, he bricked and we cosmicked the back row. It was a Featherstorm, so we got that taken care of, and his next draw wasn't really good. And then round two, we played against centurion. Apparently, he couldn't play through the board. Game one, game two, he could not. Game two, he couldn't even play at all. So that was pretty good. Then round three, we played against Fire King Snake Eyes. That was easy to saw shifter both games, so I mean that really helped. Dark Ruler's a hell of a card against that deck. I'll show you the list. And then fourth round we played against Voiceless 2-0 again. We managed out the board. We managed out the summon limit. He wasn't able to play because of shifter again. Game five we lost against Fire King Snake Eyes. He hand trapped me game two, and then game one, I think I could have played into the board a little bit better. So I think we could have won that. Round six, I played against Amir. Broke his board. He misplayed again. He wasn't that great with the deck, I assume. And then he was playing a new quick play, and he went street effect target, change spell, and I just ashed the spell. Because I'm like, you ain't doing that. You would rather use Advent for that. So he ended up just scooping. He just left the call after that. That was funny. And then round seven, we played against kashtira. Game one, he banished down one of my impens. And then game two, it was close, but I couldn't push through the board. I couldn't push through his hand traps. That's just a rough matchup for me because they could play more non-engine than me, which is very unfortunate. And then game two, but that was round seven. And then round eight, I got game one. Game two, he was able to push through the shifter and make his Omnigate. He was on Brandon Voice's voice. He comes to nib against me, which is weird enough. I guess that's fair. I don't know. And then the round three, not round three, but game three, he ended up, the judge was in the call, his camera angle was weird, imagine this camera, imagine my angle, but imagine a camera angle to where essentially you're it's you're playing, it's a point of view what you're playing, essentially you would essentially the deck was it would be like this, you would see something like this, but yeah, So, anyways, he actually drew a couple of cards. I didn't see what happened. The judge said, the two of them came upside down. I was like, honestly, don't even know. I didn't see it. The judge caught it. I mean, that's up. I mean, it's up to y'all what y'all want to do. They took a different call, and like an hour later, they was like, yeah, you just got to report yourself as the winner. And like that game was one other way. We had set Featherstorm, set Advent, set Dreaming Town, D Fissure up with Impen on board. It's like we won. Like, he was cooked regardless. Like there was no card in existence that was gonna kill me. Yeah, but that was the round. It was an 8-round regional. It was like 130 players. I mean, so it was a smaller stuff for a regional, but I mean, it's a remote regional. That's to be expected. But I mean, it was like it's still 8 rounds, so it's like that's 8 rounds of like, right? But anyways, let's go ahead and get a profile. So the best bird. No explanation for that. Standard lineup here: 3 Robin, 3 Eagle, 1 Shree, 1 Toucan. I mean, that's just like the standard small bird lineup. I decided to play this some more. This came up a couple times. I mean, I just didn't like DD Crow in my testing. DD Crow like felt like really underwhelming because Shree did what DD Crow did for me. So I was like, why don't we play this? I liked this. I think this week we're gonna test with a 3rd Impen, so we don't get our stuff. So like, if I have that same situation again with a cash matchup, hopefully he only banishes a 1 Impen instead of like, you know, instead of like 2. But having one of my Impens get banished face down sucked because I couldn't activate the other effect, or else he's gonna Fenrir banish the other one face down. It was just gonna be a game over for me. And then we got the Big Bird lineup is 2 Impen, 1 Avian, 1 Ryza, nothing standard here. I get told to play Snow. I don't think Snow is right now good this format. I think if you wanted to, you could side deck a copy of Snow for like a kashtira matchup. But in all reality, what you can do, like in all reality, you can just, the trap card does the book for you. But I can see where Snow comes up. But like I said, who knows? I can see where Snow comes up. But I'm personally not a big fan of Snow. And then for the spell, you know, for like the flu spells, we got the 1 Winds, 3 Map with a Terraforming, 3 Advent. I mean, so far it's nothing standard. I mean, the deck's ratios are already solved as is. So there's no need to like really like try and experiment with it more. I mean, it is what it is. Like yeah, and then like the trap card, yeah, like standard. And then obviously this is still standard. The pots, you know, the birds like to get high, right? So you play the 3, you play the 3 prosperities, 3 dualities. You see these all day. I use these as ash bait. They're also like really good to be ash bait as well, especially if you're under shifter, because I think people are starting to play Droll now. And this card was like an MVP card all day. Fissure. This plays around like, this shuts off like the Veilers, the Ogres, the Drolls. So like at this point, like the only 3 hand tracks you need to worry about is Imperms and Ash, and you have the Advent for the Imperms, and like most of the time, like you can always push through it. And then like the Ash, you can simply use the pot cards as bait. Like people Ash Prosperity all the time. Like I don't know why they do it, because like we don't care about the extra deck. That's like the thing. Like I struggle like to see why you would do that. And then we main decks the Board Breakers, the Dark Rulers, and the Evenly Matches. I don't play Thrust. I don't got Thrust. If you want to play Thrust, what I would do is that I would take out the Dark Rulers and the Evenly and put them in the side deck. And then I would play 2 Thrust and a Featherstorm in the main. Because Thrust is really good in this deck. I think for this I think for like this format though, I think you just gotta go all out the Board Breakers, because if you go against Voiceless Voice, you need to see a combination of this or like this. You know, so like you gotta see like 2 Evenlies, or you gotta see target 2 Dark Rulers. Because Board Breakers absolutely like dog walk them. And Board Breakers now get even better. Like in theory, if like that continuous spell made it to where I couldn't like target the Voices Voice cards, I would just play Imperms or the Dark Rulers. But unfortunately that's not the way it works. Let's go ahead and quickly go over the extra deck. I mean, it's nothing too standard. Actually let's go over to side deck real quick, just so y'all can get my extra deck choices. So 3 Ash. You know, I side deck the Ash because I don't need it in my main. You don't play enough non-engine where Ash kills a deck. But what I'll do is that if I'm going second, against like voice, or if I'm playing against like or the shifter matchups, this comes in. The insta win card, we'll hold that. 3 cosmics, just stand like you know, in my opinion, standard side deck stuff. Nib and cherries. So the theory is with this is that we play this going second against cash. They aren't going to expect him half the time because you're on birds. So if you're going second and they try to make a full inboard, you can just nib them. Like they go above like the 5 summons, and let's say they try to go in the apple or whatever the case may be, you just nib them. Like you literally just drop a fat rock on them, and you can out the rock, and like this rock and rock doesn't like, and the rock doesn't keep you from not playing the game, which is because in all reality you're playing this going second, not first. And then same thing for this. This is like you go second with this as well. Unfortunately for me, the way my games went, my opponents most of my opponents, if I win a die roll, most of the time they scooped. So I didn't know what I was playing against, so I couldn't throw this in. Or I played against voiceless voice, which this card's really dead in. This card's not bad against voiceless voice, but like in all reality, they don't really care too much for their extra deck. They want the rituals on field, and like obviously I can't rip the rituals out. Obviously I can't put a ritual in my extra deck and rip it out of their deck. That's not how that works. If it did, yeah, I would definitely have thrown that in a whole lot more and banish the Skull Guardian. So yeah, so that's the extra deck. That's the side deck. Let's go to show off the extra deck now. So standard Zeus package. I'm pulling this over to the side. I'm gonna tell you what I would cut this for. But standard Zeus package. This stuff right here was the case I played against Domatica. I wouldn't play this. I only played this because I wanted to draw. I would play Garua. Garua's a whole lot better because you don't got to put a card at the bottom. But like you don't got Garua. Ferjeet's also a pretty solid option. So yeah. So in case like you know anybody was like on Domatica or whatever, or like if they had like the or they have the Domatica package in their voice deck, that's the reason for that. Nightmare Phoenix, just generic background removal. You never know if anybody's on Zombie World. Then here is the cherries targets. Draco Stapelia, Appaloosa. I had Pep in there just because why not? But I'll tell you what I'm going to place that later. Noir. And this was Baron. I took this out after the regional was over. Because after I played Centurion, I just sat there for a minute. I'm like, okay, cool. If there's a good, it's like, okay, cool. Like, let me just put this in here just in case I play against Centurion. Because this card is like, now this card's even better now because, and now, like, Terrace is even better because now you got to worry about, like, an Omni negates and against the Centurion matchup. You just got to worry about this card right here. So, and then I played the Underworld Goddess because you never know. And then I played the Underworld Goddess because you never know if you're going to go against Towers matchups. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's also another reason, like, another, like, theory against, like, Nib as well. Is that, against, like, the combo decks and, like, Raid Raptors especially. Raid Raptors get cooked by this card and, like, that's another hard matchup for me. Because, like, the biggest reason why I like putting the Nib in and the cherries in is because, like, I needed outs like Towers. And I was like, so Pirelli doesn't play into Nib. So we could cherries that. And then Raid Raptors do play into Nib, so we can Nib that. But also, like, those 2 cards also can have, like, things for other, like, you know, matchups. Yeah. Personally, me. I want to replace one of these with a Dragoon because the idea is that you can out the Mirror Jade with the Ryza, right? So I'm thinking, you know, if we take Draco Stapelia, like if they're under Shifter 2, they're either gonna under Draco Stapelia or Dragoon. So I think one of these is going to be Dragoon, and then I'm gonna make so like one of these is gonna be Dragoon, and one of these I'm gonna put in Thunder Dragon Colossus. Obviously I could have put him in my list because he wasn't legal yesterday, but now he is legal. So we're gonna put Thunder Dragon Colossus in here because in case anybody's trying to do any funny shenanigans with that guy, we can just cherries it out of the deck and like win. And on top of that, we also got the Dark Roar, so I got like 6 outs that I could do. But yeah. But besides that, I mean... that's the list. I mean, it's birds, so I mean, it's not like I cooked up like a major combo deck, but like, I think with a few fine tweakings, I think I would have won that event, and I would have had the best deck in the room. But it was just more so like things as well, because like, in all reality, who knows? We may not even play the Underworld anymore. I might just make this. I might make this a Cherry's target too. We might just fucking banish the Shangri-La with this, which I don't think that'd be a good idea. I think what we'll do is that, like, against kashtira, is that we'll just banish the Appaloosa, because a lot of times, if they know you're on birds, they're gonna go for the Appaloosa play on their turn 3. But yeah, I mean, that's the deck. I mean, like I said, it's birds. It's nothing too special. In my eyes, it is the best shifter deck. Because in all reality, I think it's the best shifter deck going in the fire decks, and here's why. Because in all reality, yes, it has a major weakness when it comes to like being hand trapped. But the biggest thing is that you get to play these cards right here, because you don't got to worry about the princess. You don't got to worry about the interactions in the graveyard as much. Yes, they will have interactions in the graveyard. Like, they will try, like, if you do try to evenly match them, they are going to, like, have interactions in the graveyard to get follow-up. But, like, your board is so oppressive, and it is harder for them to out, because they do play nothing but links, to the point to where it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it doesn't really, like, you don't really care, because, like, a combination of, like, 6 of these cards is going to cook them, in my opinion. And then, like, just activating, like, literally, like, or, like, activating this is so, like, it's pretty strong, too, as well. Because, like, you activate that, and, like, their cards are going to get banished. So, like, they won't be destroyed and, like, be in graveyard. So, their Fire Kings or whatever won't trigger. Their, you know, like, it makes it so much harder for them to play. And the fact that, like, this card gets better with Barone and Savage being banned is pretty good. So, that's the list. Like I said, it's nothing too crazy. I think personally, I don't think 9th place is too bad for the birds. I do hate that I did get in the 9th. I was really hoping to make it in top 8. I really wanted to get that map, but it is what it is. I will potentially be at the YCS, so hopefully I get to see anybody there that watches at the channel. But, like, yeah. Besides that, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. And yeah, bro, it's the year of the fire, baby.